How's it going, everyone? Powerful I am. 50 the Mystic. Getting into a rather interesting one today, as we're getting into Mark 15, verse 36. And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink, saying, Let alone, let us see whether Elias will come to take him down. Does it mean where bystanders offer a sour wine in its essence. On a sponge, it carries deep symbolic meaning. The act represents distraction, superficial relief, or false comfort offered when true transformation is underway. The sour wine symbolizes temporary solution, external remedies that fail to address the depth of the inner process. It is the human tendency to try to soften suffering rather than endure it fully. To reach for comfort when the soul requires confrontation with reality. The sponge elevates the symbol further. It is the medium through which something external attempts to enter the system. This represents external influences, opinions, temporary fixes, social distractions that can moisten or dull the intensity of personal trials, like drinking. The gesture highlights the contrast between what is offered by the world and what is needed for transformation, endurance, inner resolve, and alignment with higher purpose. The verse also reflects the law of polarity. Sweetness and bitterness coexist. Relief is offered, yet it cannot fully resolve the internal crucible. This demonstrates the external interventions cannot substitute for the necessary confrontation with inner darkness. Only by enduring the true process does integration and awakening occur. Ultimately, this verse teaches that during critical periods of transformation, the world may attempt to offer shortcuts or relief that distracts from the work at hand. The symbol emphasizes discernment, knowing what to accept and what to reject, and what must be experienced fully in order to emerge stronger, clearer, and aligned. Endurance over comfort becomes the vehicle for true realization. And in essence, in this moment, the act of offering sour wine engages both the body and mind on multiple levels. The mouth, throat, and olfactory system detect the bitterness, triggering a reflexive response in the nervous system. The brain registers the external attempt at relief, but the limbic system simultaneously processes the intensity of the ongoing trial, producing tension, awareness, and heightened emotional states. This illustrates the mind-body interaction during moments of challenge. External stimuli are filtered through the internal state, and not all sensory input produces relief. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision making and judgment, evaluates the offer of the wine against the internal necessity of endurance. The body's reaction, whether to accept or reject, reflects the nervous system's capacity to withstand pressure without short circuiting. The spinal column and central nervous system act as conduits for both somatic sensation and internal resolve, teaching the system to distinguish between temporary relief and meaningful transformation. The verse in itself emphasizes restrained focus and integrity of the internal system. The heart, diaphragm, and respiratory system maintain steady function amid provocation, while higher cognitive centers orchestrate attention away from distraction and toward the essential process. This is training in internal sovereignty, showing that not all stimuli are designed to aid the body-mind. Some test its alignment, resilience, and discernment. Ultimately, this verse demonstrates that the human system is built to navigate the tension between external input and internal necessity. The physiology, neurology, and embodied awareness are all engaged in distinguishing temporary comfort from what is truly required for transformation, reinforcing the principle that endurance and conscious alignment take precedence over distraction or superficial relief. Because in its essence, in its full glory, it reflects the universal principle that external interventions cannot override natural processes of growth and transformation. In nature, attempts to artificially soften necessary pressure often fail. A seed cannot sprout without enduring darkness and soil resistance. A river cannot carve a canyon without the full force of flowing water. And storms cannot be bypassed, they must run their course. The sour wine symbolizes external relief that may feel comforting but cannot replace the work of internal realignment. The verse in itself illustrates the law of cause and effect and the principle of resilience under pressure. Every system, planetary, ecological, or human, requires adherence to its inherent rhythm. Temporary interference, like the offered wine, may provide surface relief but cannot accelerate the deeper process. The universe enforces timing and sequence, ensuring that transformation occurs fully and authentically. The event also demonstrates polarity and discernment and alignment. Bitterness versus comfort, endurance versus distraction, internal necessity versus external pressure all reflect the balance inherent in cosmic law. Just as nature enforces cycles of tension and release, the human system must undergo its crucible without passing essential stages. Any attempt to shortcut the process risks imbalance, misalignment, or complete integration. Ultimately, the scripture teaches that universal law favors integrity over expedience. The cosmos operates through precise mechanisms. And human transformation mirrors this principle. Enduring necessary pressure rather than seeking superficial relief aligns with natural and cosmic rhythms. True growth occurs not when discomfort is avoided, but when it is met consciously, processed fully, and integrated into a coherent system of mind, body, and spirit. Ultimately, the scripture will teach you the value of discernment and endurance in everyday life. Offering temporary solutions or quick fixes appear during challenging periods. Advice, distraction, and external comforts that promise relief. It's always easy. You know that saying of when the going gets tough. And people tend to run away once the going gets tough. Like running away solves it. Depends. People run to so many things. People run to food. People run to alcohol and drugs. Funny enough, people even run to sex. It's a coping mechanism for some people. It's a way for them to feel something else because they're so broken inside. Right. Different strokes for different people. People don't cope in the same way. Some cope by even overworking. It's an escape mechanism for them as well. People think just because you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't have other outlets, you end up having other outlets. And more often than not, they end up being destructive because not a lot of people think that things like meditation can be an outlet. It can, but remember that can also get out of hand if that's all you do all day, every day. We still need to balance it with living in reality. People think gaming is an outlet, but if it gets out of hand and you're playing games all day long, that has become a problem again. Everything requires balance. This verse highlights the importance of recognizing whether such offerings truly support your growth or merely provide a momentary escape. Real transformation requires facing pressure fully rather than seeking immediate elevation or alleviation in itself. This means pausing before accepting every external solution. When confronted with difficult, notice whether relief aligns with your deeper purpose or simply numbs the process. Journaling, meditation, or focused reflection can help distinguish between meaningful support and superficial distraction. This cultivates patience, self-awareness, and internal authority. The verse also emphasizes resilience under necessary pressure, just as the body strengthens under resistance and the mind develops clarity through challenge. Personal growth demands enduring tension without bypassing it. Temporary discomfort should not be avoided as the medium through which insight, strength, and alignment emerge. Finally, this verse calls for integrity and action. Your choices should reflect commitment to your internal process rather than the allure of external shortcuts. In practical terms, this could mean staying disciplined in difficult projects, Maintaining boundaries when external influences tempt, compromise, or consciously. Allowing yourself to feel and process emotions fully instead of numbing them. Ultimately, the lesson is clear. Growth is not about comfort. Oh, fortunately, it never is. People always ask for growth, but they don't want what comes with growth. It is about conscious endurance, discernment, and alignment with what truly serves your transformation. Accepting temporary discomfort with awareness allows you to navigate life's trials with purpose, coherence, and inner authority. And above it all, in the next one, we're going even deeper now. We're getting closer to the conclusion. Mark 15, verse 37. And Jesus cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost. This is the final release. Will you let the old self die? Because remember, it doesn't end in death. There's a resurrection that follows afterwards. I'll probably maybe cover that because I'm going to go pick a story in the book of Luke after here. Maybe in the book of Luke, I'll take you into the resurrection itself and what happens after the death. We did cover in one of the videos the symbolism of the phoenix when it catches fire and it dies. And then from the ashes, the phoenix is born anew again. Better and stronger. Think of a phoenix as well. It's very powerful and it's a very powerful symbolic creature. Gotta love it. And until next time, family, stay blessed and stay safe.